Okay, so the Chicago Bears elect to go with Luther Burden, the wide receiver who, a lot of people thought would maybe be a first rounder. I believe there was this situation where after he was not drafted in the first round, he posted that he went on like a post-midnight workout afterwards, motivated, maybe using it as motivation that he will not be a first rounder. He was considered fringe first round, but ultimately, I like this move a lot from the Bears' perspective. I think it was underrated last year how this receiving corps that they pumped a ton of resources into just kind of was underwhelming. I don't want to say it was downright horrible, but it didn't work out the way they wanted it to. And I think adding another player, someone who could fit this Ben Johnson scheme honestly perfectly, he could be the Amon-Ra St. Brown for this scheme perhaps, because they do kind of have some players that I like, but I don't know exactly how they fit this scheme. Now they're getting one that just perfectly fits the scheme. And again, you hope that DJ Moore and Rome Odunze can also be good. And hey, if everyone works out, cool. Now you have a loaded receiving core, right? That's not necessarily a bad thing. So ultimately, I like this move to go receiver here, but really what I like is the player himself. So let's get into the film and talk about just the player himself and why I like him. Let's start off with this play. So what's going to happen here is this is the, what you want out of a receiver is can they win one-on-ones down the field? And I think that that's something that Burden is going to, people are going to ask about because you look at his size, it's only 5'11", only around 210 pounds. He's not Tutu Atwell out there, right? But he's also not exactly Mike Evans, that's a question people are going to have is can you win in a situation like this? Well, let's see what he does on this play. So one-on-one matchup down the field. First, you're going to see that he gets the outside leverage and is really just, able to use his speed to get by the corner enough. The corner still is with Burden, but he has to play the receiver. Burden can play the ball. This is what Burden wants. Of course, this is not going to be an easy catch. And that's, quite frankly, what Burden is going to have to be able to do at the next level. Is if you're not a huge guy, you a lot of times have to be able to make the tough catches, and he can certainly do that. Watch, really does do a great job at adjusting to the ball, makes the grab right there. It's a really good play. So, yes, the one question that you always have with a smaller guy, I think I would not be as concerned with him because you do see stuff like this on tape, and that's what you like. Now, this is not why he's getting drafted. This is not his best attribute, but this is an important aspect of his game. So now let's go over here. Okay, well, what is his best attribute? Well, it's stuff like this. So on this play, it's going to be, you see the route that he's going to be running. It's against man coverage right here. When this play begins, you're going to see that, he starts up. And again, at this point, what route is he running? It's unclear. He's a really smooth route runner. And part of that is just at the beginning part of the route, not giving away what you're doing. But then also watch how he cuts just on an instant, and at that point he's able to make a grab, and even, again, kind of a difficult guy to bring down. Sometimes make sure you have to almost surround him, right? Like when you're trying to catch a cat or something, you got to just make sure you're surrounding the cat or surrounding Burden in this case because he can run by you. Like this one's another one where, so you see his route is going to be the shallower route. There's a deeper route that's just going to help set things up for Burden to get open. Just again, quickly for some yards. That's the way this play is designed to work. Well, watch how when the quarterback takes a snap, you see right here, again, not giving away what he's doing, and he doesn't have to cheat because he can cut so well. So then he does cut, and he's able to gain some yards. Now, I think people will sit here and say, okay, how valuable are these types of plays, right? Like this play, for example, didn't end up doing that much. So while it was very well executed by Burden, how much value is there? And it's a fair question to ask, but just because there will be some plays where there isn't a ton of value does not mean that he cannot add a ton of value. Like something like this, for example, where it's going to be a zone coverage concept. And this play it's a clever play call. And to be honest, I definitely think that with Burden, he allows you to be a little clever when you draw up plays. Because so this, for example, he's the one I've circled in white. He's actually kind of lined up in the backfield right here. But you're going to have the one player who's lined up at the line on that side of the field to run a deeper route that's trying to clear out the corner there. Then Burden is going to essentially run to where the corner now isn't. Watch. So when this play begins, you see that, right over here, this is not the corner. This is a different player who's just in charge of covering over the middle of the field. And so for Burden, who's stopping right here, what does that tell you as a defender? Well, okay, this is probably the route. I have to, come in and make sure that I can make a play right here. So then when Burden actually cuts down the field, you see how open he gets. The corner actually read that perfectly, but Burden still makes a great play on it to get it as open as possible. That's really good stuff there from Burden. So yeah, again, he's just someone who, quite frankly, is going to be an effective player on a lot of different types of routes, right? Like even setup routes, he can use this route running to help set other guys up too. Like it all works together. Heading over to something like this, I like this as well, which I thought this is, something that is fun. So it's going to be it's designed a wide receiver screen. That's what's supposed to happen right here. However, when the quarterback takes a snap, this play kind of gets not perfectly executed. You see right here, there isn't really a clear lane for him to, get a pass. So, okay, it is what it is. Give credit to the defense for making things work, but watch what Burden's going to do. Watch how he's going to just essentially find a lane, and I like that with him. He is a player who kind of understands how the game of quarterback works, right? Because some receivers just want the ball all the time, and hey, sometimes those guys are good, right? A.J. Brown wants the ball all the time, and he should get the ball all the time because he's good, right? But then there's receivers who more have the mindset of, okay, I have to think like a quarterback, and I have to give them a lane to throw it to me. Like Travis Kelce's probably the best at that, right? Who's not a receiver, but he's kind of a receiver, and he's great at that kind of stuff. I'm not saying Burden is Travis Kelce, just making the comparison. Now, you're going to see here, he does, I think, try to do a bit too much. And again, that's probably my biggest concern with him going into the NFL, actually, is what happened at the end there. Just the idea of he's someone who does a lot when he's route running, right? And he moves a lot, and it's worked in college because he's not going up against the best talent, right? He's going up against college athletes. Now you're going up against the 1% of the 1% of the 1% in the NFL, right? They're the best athletes in the world, and a lot of times these moves don't fully work out. And if it gets to the NFL, will they fully work out? Sometimes you have a guy like this and they turn into an Antonio Brown or a Zay Flowers. Sometimes it's more of a Hunter Renfrow. Still an effective player, but maybe not someone you'd want to spend a premium pick on. But ultimately, usually they at least end up being an effective player. So, relatively high floor and still high ceiling guy for Luther Burden is kind of how I view him. But yeah, ultimately, those are my thoughts on Luther Burden. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that video and want to hear more of my thoughts, well, for one thing, you can check out my movie channel. Yes, I have a movie channel. You can check the link in the description below. I do some fun things like some movie reviews, even some TV show reviews, tier list, fun things like that, so you can check that out. Also, make sure that you are subscribed and paying attention to this channel, as there will be plenty of draft content. I plan on making a video for every first round pick, many of the other picks throughout the draft, and also I will do recaps for each team after the draft is over. So I will eventually talk about every single pick from your favorite team. Be on the lookout for that, as it will be out this weekend. And also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter. I am at Jackson Kruger, or X, whatever you prefer to call it. But yeah, that's all I got. Thanks again for watching till the end of the video.